I'm fully aware that I have already ranted about this subject before. Unfortunately, it's not one of those topics that fades away with time. I wish it did, I really do. Most things I rant about are typically problems that just bother or annoy me about the world around us. But this time is different. Just mentioning this very subject legitimately angers me. It shakes the very foundation of my human nature. I've experienced my fair share of anger, but I would never wish this upon anyone. Regardless of any feelings I may have towards a specific person, this is a problem I feel no one should ever have to endure in their lifetime. Let me just warn you right now that this rant is not going to be like my usual ones. Usually I tend to make fun of something I dislike or joke about it to a certain degree, but not this time. I'm just warning you right now that this subject seriously angers me. I will shout, I will curse more than usual. There is a chance that the way I discuss this problem may or may not scare you depending on your age. On top of that, I will be showing some pictures that may be difficult for you to look at. Therefore, I feel it's only fair to warn you that this video is not for the faint of heart. I'm not trying to scare or disturb anyone, but if you have any doubts about watching this, please turn away now. I'm not holding anything back this time. With that said, I feel it's time to begin. I am going to be ranting about abuse. Human beings are very complex creatures. There is so much we still don't understand about them, particularly the inner mechanisms of their minds. Why they act the way they do under specific circumstances, we still don't fully understand. Through science, we claim to have discovered so much over the years, but we still have so much left to learn. One of those remaining lessons is deciphering how anyone could do this to a child, this to a spouse, or even this to a defenseless animal. See, the world really isn't so innocent as you are led to believe it is. Some children are afraid of the prospect of monsters living under their beds. But for some kids, those monsters are real, and they torment, frighten, and harm children every single day of their lives. Even worse, those monsters can turn out to be the parent or guardian, someone a child is supposed to trust and confide in over everyone else in the world. And when a child can't trust and even fears its mother or father, what hope does it have? No hope. No hope at all. Marriage is supposed to be the joyful, eternal union between a man and woman who are in love. Typically, that prospect rings true, but for some women, that union is more like a lifelong prison sentence. Eternal suffering in which every day is a nightmare of uncertain yet anticipated pain. More often, the husband is drunk than not, but all the same, these women anticipate all the screaming, the arguing, and the physical pain that ensues every day under their roof. It's not so easy for them to just walk away, so they stay there and endure that punishment that might not even fit any crime. Having a pet is a great blessing, almost like raising a child. That pet is there to confide in for comfort, for support, for escape from life's misfortunes. They don't speak to us, but in a way, we understand each other at all the same. But pets don't always understand why we say or act the way we do. For example, they'll never understand what goes through some twisted bastard's mind when he or she does this to them. There's a common trend here, and there's one question I have to ask for all of these scenarios. Why? Why? To all of you sick fucks who would inflict unconditional pain to any of these undeserving victims, why? What cancer in your mind triggers you to believe that this torture is acceptable or is in any possible manner a justified act? If you abuse a child simply because you were abused in your early years, then you haven't grown up in the slightest, since you still seem to think like an irrational kid. You are in no conceivable way stronger or better than the person who abused you if you grow up to become the same person you loathed over the years. If you hate having to care for a child because you're selfish, uncaring, lethargic, and bitter, then why the hell would you have a damn child in the first place? Raising a child is a commitment, and if you are not prepared to live with that choice, then it is your own fault, not the child's. The child doesn't deserve to suffer. You do if you think that assaulting, yelling, or unjustly punishing the kid will improve your situation in any respect. By abusing a child, you are beginning or continuing a cycle of hatred that will stain your family's name for generations. The suffering your children endure could very well cause them to spread pain and suffering to their children, and so on and so forth. If you conform to such an abhorrent tradition in your family, then you are a tool of your family's unjust hatred, nothing more. No child, no matter their age, gender, ethnicity, or what have you, ever deserves to be abused. I don't care what their family's background is. A young child is a symbol of pure, untouched hope, a new beginning, the carrier of a new generation. Children are impressionable by their parents. What the parents demonstrate for them, those kids will carry on for the rest of their lives. If you teach them that unreasonable anger, ignorant hatred, and senseless violence are acceptable contributing factors to proper punishment, then you are the very reason there is so much hatred in our society, and there always will be as long as you continue to provide it. Marriage-bound women and animals are just as vulnerable and undeserving of abuse as children. They are living, breathing creatures and are just as capable of thought and perception as you. If you abuse them and fool yourself into believing that it is an assertion of power, then you are an even greater fool than anyone could have initially anticipated. Abuse is not power. It is cowardice. If you are so unhappy, so insecure, or so fucking misunderstood that you have to harm others profusely just to make yourself feel powerful, then you are an undeniable coward. No one ever deserves to become a casualty of your own misfortune. To have a family with people who care about you is a blessing, and you are undeserving of such a gift if you have to feed your selfish desires for self-gratification at the expense of the well-being of the people around you. I am not a victim of abuse, and I never will allow my children or anyone I love to endure such injustice. The reason this angers me so deeply is because I know people who have been abused. I'm sure we all have. The stories they've told have broken my heart. I simply cannot stand the prospect of such a preventable crime being committed on good, honest, and downright undeserving people. I'm not petitioning to remove this problem from our society, as that's simply impossible. There will always be instances of abuse that go unnoticed for one reason or another. While I hope with every fiber of my being that these bastards are caught and locked away for life, it's not what matters ultimately. More than anything, I hope that anyone suffering from abuse gets away and gets help. If you or someone you know is being abused, get help. No one deserves to go through this. Tell someone about it and get that tortured soul out of there. If you have been abused, don't ever give up on yourself. Your abuser might tell you that no one loves you, but that is utter bullshit. I promise you that there is someone, somewhere out there, who does love and care about you. Just because you were abused doesn't mean your life is not worth living, or that you should abuse others. Please, I'm begging you, if you have been abused, don't give up on yourself or on life. There is always someone who cares about you. I promise you that. And all you need to do is just speak up and tell someone.